Hello cousins, and welcome to another session of Honest Talk About Women, where you'll learn tips, tricks and strategies on how to navigate the minefields of dating and relationships. Don't forget to click on the like button, comment in the comment section, and also subscribe to the channel. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you'd like to contact me on a topic you'd like discussed, or you have a story that you'd like to share with viewers, please contact me on the email address listed below. Today's topic is about going into business with your girlfriend. Back in my mid-20s, I was in my first serious relationship. I had met a lady at university during my postgraduate studies, and we've been communicating together, and I asked her to come live with me. And I was very green back then about relationships, and I was also naive about business in the real world. Even though I had a undergraduate and a postgraduate degree. So we were both working at the time. I was working as an analyst for an investment bank, and she was working in hospitality. And we were both saying at night that it'd be a lot better if we were working for ourselves and be our own boss. So we decided to quit our jobs and start a business. And like a lot of young couples, you have visions of grandeur with employing staff, and the staff making all the profits for you, and you sitting back with your feet up counting your money. But the reality is it's quite different. It's never that simple. So we had our savings at the time that we put into the business, and we borrowed 98%, and we started a bakery. And it was a shock to the system, because even though I had done business studies at universities, I was never prepared for what I was about to walk into. You can learn a lot at university, but most of it can be quite theoretical. And most of the business professors that were teaching business had very little business experience themselves. They'd never been in the real world. They were mostly academics. I learned more about my father and his business experiences than I had at any university that I went to. So I was in charge of the operations, and especially the baking part, and she was in charge of the front end of the operations, where it was getting the orders out early in the morning, and also dealing with the public, and also doing the back end operation of administration. So we thought it would be a winning combination, and it would work quite well. However, we both found it a challenge. I found it a challenge employing staff. I thought you could employ staff and they'd do the job, but I was totally wrong. Not all staff are the same. My experience back then was the staff I did hire, it turned out to be a complete flop, because I didn't know what I was looking for. And as I learnt from my mistakes, I learnt you gradually employed on attitude and not on experience. You can have the best experience in the world, but if you have the wrong attitude, they will never be a good team member and do what you want them to do. So I gradually learned that as you went on and employed people, it all came down to attitude. If someone doesn't necessarily have the experience, you can train them up. With the right attitude, you can train them up. And I went through a lot of bakers before I found a really good team. As for my girlfriend at the time, she really hated staff and managing staff. It wasn't in her makeup. She was quite an arty person, and she also didn't or couldn't meet deadlines. So doing the bookkeeping, you had to file payroll at a certain time so it could be processed by the bank. And back then, I look back, and the technology was really antiquated back then. We're talking 20 years back, 20, 30 years back. And also filing tax returns with the government on payroll and sales tax, which is GST in this country, which stands for Goods and Services Tax. Other countries like Europe had VAT, value added tax, and the United States, I don't think they have a federal sales tax at all. It's just all done at a state level. So she didn't like handling staff, hiring staff, or managing staff, and she also didn't accept deadlines that you had to comply with. And if you didn't file your taxes on a certain date, back then you'd get a hefty 13% penalty for late payment, and she always had the excuse, it can be done when I get back from the gym, which it never got done, or it will happen when I'm in the right frame of mind. And unfortunately it didn't work like that with the tax department. They didn't have any mercy on people's frame of mind, so it didn't work out, and it was grating her, and it was getting her down managing staff. It was just not her cup of tea, and I saw it wasn't her cup of tea. Whereas I had a passion for the business, I learnt a lot, and I excelled in it. It wasn't her cup of tea at all. So we decided one evening, you have that fireside chat, or some people call it a car park talk, where we agreed on an arrangement where I'd pay her out of the business and we'd part amicably. And that was my first experience of going into business with a girlfriend. So not everyone is cut out for business. She was quite arty, it wasn't her cup of tea, and not everyone can handle pressurized situations. And it doesn't matter how educated you are, it can vary. It doesn't have nothing to do with your educational level. I've seen people who are very, very well educated, who, in particular a guy I met who had a PhD in mathematics, and he broke down. He couldn't handle the pressure of business, and he broke down. So educational level's got nothing to do with business success or how you handle pressure. And it's really interesting how people handle pressure, because everyone has a different tolerance level, and you will get challenged throughout your life where you're in highly pressurized situations, and you'll really see the true character of that person, what they're like under pressure. So guys, if you're looking at choosing a girlfriend and it's getting quite serious, you want to see how they operate under pressure, because sooner or later in your life you'll come across a situation where pressure is involved and there's deadlines involved, and you've got to handle it if you're going to move ahead together as a team. So a lot of people say throw a pressure test with your girlfriend, and I actually agree with that. I would put a pressure test in place, and for an example, a good example is inviting half a dozen people over for dinner, and it can sometimes be sorted out in the day, that evening, for them to come over. And so you tell your girlfriend at the time, the house has to be tidied, vacuumed, you need to go grocery shopping, you need to buy the food, then you need to prepare, and then you need to welcome the guests at the door, and see how she handles that. And some women will do it in a breeze, and will even go beyond what they're required to do, and others will have a hissy fit. And it's a very simple test, and if they do have a hissy fit, you've got to get in there and help and get things organised, and you can see how things are tracking and how organised they are towards the 6 o'clock deadline. So as you go through life, guys, you will need a girlfriend who can handle pressure and handle deadlines, because we all have those as we go through life. And it's crucial that your girlfriend knows how to handle pressure. Otherwise, things will come unstuck. And if she can't handle a very simple task like a dinner for 6, then there's going to be difficulties down the track, guys, if you have kids and there's deadlines to meet, or if you're looking at going in business. I personally would not involve a girlfriend or a wife in business. I believe that a business can only have one boss, like a boat with one captain who can steer, and the staff need clear, concise communication from one person. Yes, it has worked with couples who have been very successful in business. There's joint CEOs. In fact, I contracted my services to a company where it had a husband and wife team, and they took a business from 0 to 500 million turnover in 10 years. And they were both very wealthy people. They had about 100 million each to their name, and they were both totally in sync, and they're both passionate about the business. And it worked for them, but it's a very rare occasion that I've ever come across a husband and wife team being so successful like that. So that's it for today guys. If you're looking at going to the next level with your girlfriend, you need to know how she handles pressure, because sooner or later you're going to have to handle pressure and a deadline throughout your life. And it's good to know up front how she can handle that and what she's like. and what her threshold is for pressure. Obviously, it didn't work out in my situation, but in hindsight, I should never have gone into business with my girlfriend at that stage, because she just wasn't really cut out for business. And I was very green at the time, both on the relationship front and also on the business front. But it is what it is, and we all learn and keep evolving and keep moving forward. So that's the tip for today, guys. If you like the story, please click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, comment in the comment section. If you want a topic discussed or you have a story you want to share with viewers, please contact me on my email address down below. Until next time, take care.